This is Lin WOod, and he's outside of a party at somebody's house. Yes, I was calling her Silt. Yes. We're always looking for, for puns about diamond and silk, so.
I met a fine man who is a whistleblower.
Very fine people on both sides.
And I've taken a lot of flack because of what the whistleblower's evidence is in terms of what it speaks to with respect to Chief Justice John Roberts, what it speaks to with respect to Hillary Clinton.
By the way, what it speaks to, what he's talking about there is, like crazy pedivore QAnon stuff.
What it speaks to with respect to Rod Rosenstein, and what it speaks to with respect to former Vice President Pence.
Yeah, so these are all the bad guys. Hillary Clinton, Pence, Rod Rosenstein, who, by the way, if Rod Rosenstein hadn't run interference for Trump, we'd have had his finances and how they relate to Russia, and he would have been in deep shit. Rod Rosenstein really threw himself on the grenade in spite of all this. And then, of course, Chief Justice John Roberts, a Republican appointee, is clearly the worst of the worst, according to this.
Yeah.
And yes, this is brand new. He just posted this on his own Telegram.
I don't make the accusations.
Yeah, why would I do that? I just say what I heard and wink a lot.
But I have come to know this gentleman.
We both get our eyebrows waxed at the same place.
I think it's
Seriously, the eyebrow waxing here is ridiculous.
across from the
Not to mention the Botox.
table from him, you feel the same way. And one day, now that this state bar has filed this foolish lawsuit against me, I may bring him down and let him testify live, and people will see.
Do that, please.
And then they can determine for themselves whether this whistleblower is telling the truth, and they'll investigate Roberts and Pence and Clinton and Rosenstein, and then
Yeah, that's what'll happen. The Georgia Bar Association.
know the truth. Either they're guilty or they're not. But we need
Either they're guilty or they're not. And what's the harm in slandering somebody good and hard in front of the Bar Association in an attempt to get out of simply just going in for a psychiatric examination?
to know. And his testimony.
Here you go. Go sit for the psychiatric examination that the Bar Association has asked you to sit for because you're a lunatic. And if we'll know if you're crazy or if you're not.
Incredible to me.
Where's the harm?
Where he gave interviews 2 years ago. He was credible then. He's consistent. So I believe in
You
him.
mean he sticks to his lie?
The public has a right to know. And I turned that tape of the interview over to the United States Secret Service. So I put it in the hands of law enforcement.
And they laughed at it because they checked it out and it's lunacy.
It's an obligation on somebody's part to investigate the
They did.
whistleblower's evidence, because if it is true, and I find him credible,
Well, you found that haberdashery credible. You found your Botox person to be credible. You found that, eyebrow waxing place that you found online with their Yelp reviews credible and rolled in there and said, give me the Jack Torrance.
you've got some significant
Wendy, darling, light of my life, give me the bat.
problems in the highest court in this country with the Chief Justice.
Do you have any confidence anyone is doing anything with that evidence yet?
Do you have any confidence that they're doing anything with any of this evidence, is what the woman says. Hold on, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I got to...
I believe there's a lot going on in this country that we're not seeing or hearing right now.
Well, yeah, but that's legally true all the time. Yes, there are cow shit throwing contests and games of cornhole that have turned violent. There are unlicensed liquor and strip clubs all throughout rural America. There are thousands upon thousands of poorly ventilated, if ventilated at all, indoor gun ranges that are leading to lead poisoning amongst thousands and thousands of Trump's greatest supporters. Have you ever heard of it? Not really. I believe there's lots of things we're not hearing right now as we stand out next to this siding in this bush.
You're hopeful.
I have faith in Donald Trump.
Before the Lord.
I have faith in the United States military, and more important, I have faith in God, and I believe that just what we read in the Bible, every lie will be revealed.
So you're in trouble, is what you're saying.
I got a lot of hope.
Yeah, every lie shall be revealed. As in, the reason I wear this hat is so you can't see the stitches. Every lie shall be revealed. And by the way, he had, hold on, let's go. That's 3, what was the number on that one? 30, 38. This is the next one, 30, 41, 30, 44. I want to do these in order from when he put them up there. 30, yeah, okay, here we go. So this is the next one. This one's fun. Well, I'm assuming it is. I haven't watched these. You guys know I like to do these raw, but this is the next. Let me see if that brings that down to the lip of it where you can see. There you go. Cool.
Well, listen, I'd like to see them spread the word about what the State Bar of Georgia is doing.
Yeah, they're filing a giant injunction against you. You don't even live in Georgia. You live in South Carolina. You've committed voter fraud.
They've done it. I believe sometimes the devil acts, and he ends up, you find God turns it into a blessing in disguise.
So that's your motivation for all the actions you've taken.
Maybe
if I just lie enough and create enough chaos and destroy enough lives, then maybe the Lord will make lemonade.
Silly complaint of 1,600 or 1,700 pages that they filed against me.
Yeah, which they clearly not even bothered to type up. 1,600 to 1,700 pages in a complaint against you with the Bar Association. It's actually, and by the way, one of the things in there is this asshole doesn't even live in Georgia and he voted here in the last election.
They put in every lawsuit that Sidney Powell's filed and the 2 that I filed. So now you got one nice little bundle that tells the people that read
that this asshole repeatedly filed nuisance lawsuits, and if you want to read them, you don't have to go look elsewhere. We'll put them right here in front of you. This is the worst. Honest to God. This guy is saying that because they included the lawsuits he filed, that somehow that's doing him a favor. Instead of literally the Georgia Bar Association is going, okay, not only are we saying that he filed frivolous lawsuits that are full of lunacy and his sanity needs to be checked, but here they are, Your Honor. This is why this is the Kraken. I swear to God, this is actually, the Georgia Bar Association has their own Kraken. And so, remember when Rudy Giuliani was like, we tried to put all this evidence in. We've been trying to do all this and they won't even let us. No, you just filed please have a court hearing for us so we can pretend that there's a real court hearing. We don't want to give you the evidence because if we give it to you, you'll throw it out. They go again. They act like Trump is a god. Oh, I think you meant to say God. It says good. That goes against the first commandment. Yeah, I mean, they're deifying him. Absolutely. He's a false prophet. It's old school. There's nothing, never meaning no harm. Right. So.
Truth is because the lawsuit complaints are chock full of the evidence of the.
Yeah, I know. And you notice how they're not afraid to show the evidence in court. They're not hiding from any of it. They're literally going, Your Honor, here's the whole case. We, as the legal profession in Georgia, have looked at the cases he's filed, and we're comfortable giving you the whole fucking thing.
That the courts so far have not reviewed.
Yes, they have. If they haven't reviewed them, then you didn't file them. They had to review them to dismiss them even.
That's another story for another day, why these...
It's a story because it's not true.
Courts have consistently not reviewed the fraud evidence.
Yes, they did.
The media turns around and says, oh, there's no fraud because the courts didn't find any.
They found some fraud. Like you voting in fucking Georgia when you live in South Carolina. Licensed to practice law in Georgia, says he lives in Georgia, doesn't live in Georgia. He's like the Josh Hawley of South Carolina.
Never looked at it. So
They did look at it. It was filed. And at this point, they're like, the courts didn't want to look at this, and they threw it out for standing. We're comfortable submitting it as part of ours because we are representatives of the quality of legal profession in Georgia, and we don't want this ambulance chasing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones wannabe in a in a chapeau running around here pretending to be a lawyer.
State Bar of Georgia's clearly, to me, I've looked at the people on the disciplinary committee. This is a anti-Trump group. I've read.
Yeah, bunch of Republicans.
State bar grievance committees in various places in the country have been weaponized.
Have they? Weaponized against people who are filing frivolous lawsuits?
Against Trump supporters. So, am I surprised? No. I got a lot of concerns about the state of the legal profession. I have had them for years.
I have my own concerns about the state of the legal profession, namely that you're a practicing lawyer. That they seem to be wanting to clean that part up. He's got bird shit on his right shoulder. I don't think so. I think you mean his left? That's a pin. I don't see bird shit, but maybe you're right. It's raining, so he might have some water on there.
The profession has lost its integrity.
It has? Well, you're a lawyer. That would be proof that it has integrity problems.
Don't have any Atticus Finches anymore. We need a lot of them.
So who will adjudicate this then? How does this
Well,
play out? Hopefully.
I have to tell you, I've never had a disciplinary action brought against me in 43 years, so I don't really know the procedure.
Well, you're about to find out. Crash course.
I'll retain counsel, and they'll walk me through the process. But look, it's a simple situation. What they're saying is a lie.
All 1,700 pages of it? It's a pretty big, pretty thick lie.
They're distorting.
By the way, if you ever want to lie, folks, take a page out of somebody else's book. Don't follow this dude. Make them very limited in scope and stick to them. I wasn't there. That kind of shit.
And that's a lie. It's for an agenda. I think they're tied into Governor Kemp. I think they're
another anti-Trump Republican who is clearly under the spell of Stacey Abrams.
Tied into members of the judiciary in this state. I think that Georgia's
I gotta say for a second, it's always weird when the QAnon crowd always seem to be backing up like Epstein, and like Trump is literally friends with, he's got 4 pedophiles on speed dial, and yet the QAnon people think that he's the hero in all this story. It always strikes me as odd. And this dude just reeks of a Southern, like, eyes wide shut parties. Like he was wearing eye makeup the night before under his mask at some sort of weird bacchanal. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying he reeks of it. Why do they always reek of it? You would think that they would have some people who don't just come off as, I just walked out of here, took off my Doc Forces robes, put on my hat to cover the fact where my crown sat. I've got mask hair right now, so I got to wear my hat.
one of the most, if not the most corrupt states in this country.
Yeah, Georgia's terrible. One of the most corrupt, if not the most corrupt state is Georgia. Why? Because Trump lost. It must be.
I've been peeling the layers of the onion off, and they don't like it.
Okay, so he's been peeling the layers off, and they don't like it. It seems to me that this fella is a sore loser.
Well, listen, God is hope.
Hope Hicks? Oh my God, she's been walking among us? Does she have the healing touch? I think that she does.
Your past life is a testimony, and your future is hope.
Huh? So your past is a tissue of lies, and your future is hoping not to get caught. I got you.
So if you give up hope, in effect, you're giving up on God. Don't give up on God. Don't.
What are you hoping for, though? If you're hoping to never be confronted with the sins that you've committed, that hope is false hope. It's based on you just not wanting to face your own sins.
There's hope.
It's an eminence front.
And in the real world, don't give up on Trump. Trump's going
In the real world, because God's not in the real world. God's in the fantasy world. Is that what you're saying? Jesus.
to them all.
That was okay. That was really just that one little clip. She managed to get another minute and 29 seconds out of him for this last little piece. God, this dude creeps me out. Seriously. Botox, eyebrows waxed, the eyeliner, the hat. There's a lot of imaging going on here for somebody who's supposed to be down home. Down home doesn't take this much fucking work. I just rolled in here to do my show from the gym. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not against wearing makeup at all. As a matter of fact, when I perform music, love doing it. Smoke dyes, semi-goth, love it. I'm a closet glam vestite. Not ashamed of that at all. But when your whole approach and what you're selling is, I'm the real deal. We're us folks down here, we're simple folk. We're not like these big city crazy people. We're simple folks. And then this happening. You know what I'm saying? This is not...
Ask you one last question,
Sure.
just because you're so passionate
One last question, since you're so passionate, and the police are here to pick you up.
about child trafficking.
You're so passionate about child trafficking. I'm just going to say, ask the question like, you're so passionate about stopping child trafficking. Know what I mean? Just saying, if I was talking to somebody, and Nerd Halen, if I was talking to somebody, and I was trying to say that they, were a good person, I would say you're clearly, it's like saying, I know you're passionate about prostitution. You know what I mean? You go up to an anti-porn Christian activist and go, I know porn is very important to you. You know what I mean? Like the wording kind of matters.
Have you seen firsthand some of the evidence of it? People say...
Have you seen some of the evidence firsthand of child trafficking? Okay, first of all, firsthand being what it is, like we've all seen news reports about them busting people over the years for decades, as long as the news has been covering it. But I'm curious to hear what kind of evidence he gets. I've looked at every single frame of some of that disgusting footage 3 or 4 times, and I can tell you.
Look at the pictures. They don't want to,
Some people don't want to look at the pictures. They don't want to look at the video.
I've seen videos and photographs. I've talked with some people that are involved in it.
So, I know you're very passionate about child trafficking. Yes, I've looked at some of the videos and the pictures, and I've talked to some people who are involved in it.
Some of the people that work for me, one gentleman in particular is passionate to fight child sex trafficking.
Okay, at least he put the word fight in.
Military. The media's ignored it.
How has the media ignored it?
I think the same people that are controlling our country and the world.
Right. This is the Pettivore cabal story.
I think they're right.
Did he just say cabal? He did say cabal. Cabal. Come on, man. Well, I just hold on.
I think they're right in the middle of it. I think it's a money-making deal, and I think it's candidly a satanic ritual, a worship of the devil.
All right. So is it okay? There's a lot there to unpack. So it's a money-making deal. It's a satanic cabal. So are there simply money-making people, or is everybody who's involved in it satanic, or do you have to have some sort of weird satanic blessing for your crop of children that you're selling? I mean, that's a lot for everybody to be involved in all these things. Like these they have to be giant satanic churches. All right.
What they're doing to little children, selling, they say that you can make more money selling children than you can make if you're in the oil industry, buying and selling.
So So where is the oil industry getting all their seed money from?
Now listen, this is about our humanity. If we don't take care of and protect the children, what does that tell us about our humanity?
Well, I would argue that yes, Parler is back, yes. But yeah, it's on a Russian website, but yeah, that's fun. Or a Russian server, rather. Yeah, total projection. This reeks of somebody who is literally hiding child sex trafficking. Honestly, I don't know how you take it any other way. It's huge. You can make lots of money in it. It sounds like he's talking in terms of like a pitch. You can make $10,000, $500 per child. The number of children that would have to go missing to make it profitable on the level of oil, though, like the audience, the wealth of the, I mean, honestly, it's like when you hear that somebody has a $3,000 a day of coke habit. You ever heard that story? Like at that point, I had a $3,000 a day coke habit. And you're like, asshole, you make $5,000 a month. What are you talking about?
So there should be a massive, focused effort in this country and around the world to end child sex trafficking.
Agreed. I would argue that there is reason to look into this dude. Seriously, it looks like the magician's left hand.
Pedophilia, to end the use of children, their body parts, their blood, as it relates to satanic rituals. And I don't think...
Dude. First of all, is it adrenochrome or do they just need them for spells? And if the spells are worked, wouldn't Hillary have gotten elected?
Have fetal tissue in a vaccine. I wouldn't touch that vaccine with a 100-foot pole.
With a 100-foot pole. So it has fetal tissue in it. Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. That's the end of it. He's just giving you the look. You know, he's got that look. Christ almighty.